Aloha, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus Park. To all my listeners and people just tuning in for the first time, I want you to know how much I appreciate you guys. If you guys could like, subscribe, make a comment onto whatever platform you're listening to, that would be greatly appreciated. You can find us everywhere, on every single podcast platform. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple is a big one, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. I would appreciate it. Also on our YouTube channel. All right. Well, first thing I want to do is shout out our sponsors. Defend Hawaii's been my biggest sponsor from the start. They've got new stuff coming out for Christmas. Best thing you can get for people that are into local clothing, go to defendhawaii.com. They also have a store in Winter Mall called No One, but go check them out. Defendhawaii.com. Use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, and you'll get 15% off your entire purchase order. Next, we have IREP Detail Supply. They're your one-stop shop superstore for anything you need to detail your vehicle. I used them last year to get a buffer for my dad for Christmas. So it's also a good place that you can get Christmas presents for. Everybody has a car, everybody needs to clean it. So go check them out. You can go to their store in Temple Valley Shopping Center. They also have one in Las Vegas. If not, go to irepdetailsupply.com, promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, and you'll get 15% off your purchase order. Next, we have Hawaii Candy Factory, and they're known all over the island with their crazy little treats and snacks, island style candies. But go check them out. They're great stocking stuffers. You see them everywhere, noms. I see them at Foodland or every craft fair, but go check them out. Hawaii Candy Factory, promo code ATBPOD upon checkout. You'll get 10% off your entire purchase order. Last but not least, we have our medicinal mushroom company. They're a locally based medicinal mushroom company here in Hawaii. It's Med Mushroom High. They have 4 different tinctures of extracted mushrooms. They have lion's mane, chaga, turkey tail, and red reishi. I take all 4 religiously. I take the first 3 every morning with my coffee, and the red reishi at night to help me sleep. But if you don't know what these medicinal properties of these mushrooms do, go to Med Mushroom High and it explains it all to you. You can also go to medmushroomhigh.com and you can get whatever mushroom you want. Use promo code ATBPOD upon checkout, all capitals, and you'll get 45% off your first tincture of whatever mushroom you want to try out. Go check them out. Aloha. All right, this week on our show, we're bringing back somebody I've known for a long time, and he was a former member of our show previously, Mr. Lucid Explorers himself, Matt Chong. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me back.
What made me think to bring you back? For one, I've been wanting to get some previous guests back on, but I recently, in the last week or so, I had a lucid dream which made me think of you. And it was I took melatonin.
Mhm. Mela,
Yeah.
melatonin.
Yeah, so I took melatonin and forgot back in the day when we used to compete and we used to go to the mainland to fight, I would take that to kind of reset my time clock.
Yeah.
And for some reason it gave me nightmares. So,
Oh,
and it happened multiple times. So I've never took it for a while, for years. And my fiance had it, and um, honestly, she got me to take it because she was hyping up the taste because it was like this gummies, and she said it tastes super good. So I
they
I
do
took
taste
it.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I took it, and then I had a lucid dream. And for listeners who don't know what a lucid dream is, I looked it up and you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's a dream in which a dreamer is aware that they're dreaming and can influence the dream in a certain way. If is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. You just basically you realize you're dreaming while it's happening. And then once you get that down, take a little bit of practice, but then you can essentially do literally anything you can possibly imagine and way more. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, so that happened to me and it made me think of you. I fell asleep and I was in a lucid state and I influenced my dream in a certain way consciously. So it was that fine medium. And it made me think of you because honestly, that's the first time that it happened to me in where I could recall that it happened. I mean, I'm not saying that it didn't happen to me before, but this time I remembered it. And I think it was because of the supplement I took and I wanted to get your input if that's a normal thing. And I wanted also to know what are the benefits of being able to lucid dream on the norm. Like you said, it can once you get practice, you can do it on the norm or the regular.
Yeah. Well, as far as melatonin is concerned, like I think that helps you sleep better potentially, but it hasn't really been shown too much to necessarily help with lucid dreams specifically. But like other things like say like nootropics, so like alpha brain or some of the other ones that kind of fire up your brain a little bit more. Now some of those can be a problem because they fire up your brain so much you'll have a hard time going to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But those can really help. But if nonetheless, it's really about just getting more sleep. And so if melatonin helps you sleep more and deeper and longer, then as a kind of like benefit effect of it, you could also help you have more lucid dreams. But when it comes to the benefit of lucid dreams, man, I mean, it's huge. I mean, one thing that's undeniable is just for like the pure experience of it, right? You can actually have any experience imaginable. You can fly, you could be a god, you could meet with deceased loved ones, right? Now, whether it's really their spirits you're meeting with or not, almost doesn't really matter because it could still be a very deep and meaningful experience, whether it really was their spirit or not really their spirit. Um, you can obtain information from them, right? So, like, say if you're a couple different views on it, but say if you have the more materialistic view, where like it's everything within the dream is your subconscious mind, right? You get to interact and essentially build a relationship with your subconscious mind. You can ask it questions. You can try to give you answers to things. um you could, I haven't done this too much myself, but there's been studies showing we can kind of try like to influence your physiology through it, right? So like I have back issues for the past like 10 years or so, and I've seen this said in other places where like it works 100%. And so it didn't work. I didn't feel like that much better in the morning, but I got like this glowing, calming yellow power out of my hands. I like put it over my back. It felt warm. It felt nice. I still woke up. My back was sore. But there's been other examples where, people really went ahead and fixed things through their dreams. I mean, if not, like one way you could potentially try to fix yourself through a dream is you could find like a archetype. Could be any dream character, but typically, you'd probably be better off if you could find like a doctor archetype or dream character. And then you could ask them, hey, I'm dealing with this problem. What type of remedy could I possibly do? And then, you could try implement that into your life. But yeah, I mean, the benefits of lucid dreaming, are huge.
When you lucid dream, are you in a REM state of mind? Like how much impactful sleep are you getting, or or would you wake up and be like, oh fuck, I didn't sleep enough or something like that?
Oh yeah. So now, I mean, in my experience, I've never really felt like lucid dreaming has really screwed up my sleep or I'm tired the next day. I mean, if anything, because it's normally such a fun and trippy experience, you wake up feeling great and even more energized. But so lucid dreams typically do take place in REM style sleep,
Oh
right? But
wow.
that's not exclusively only there. So they have like some master dream yogis who are said to be able to stay lucid through all the different stages of sleep, right? So you go like stage one is light sleep, stage two is still light but a little bit deeper. You have stages three and four, which is like the really deep sleep, the slowest brain waves, and then you hit REM. Like some of these master yogis are said to be able to be conscious through all these states, even through like the deep, what they used to call dreamless sleep, although it's pretty well established that it's not dreamless. It's just there is a conscious experience going on there. It's just that it's very difficult for people unless you're like a master yogi or something to be able to hold your conscious awareness through that. But then you can also get lucid in other states. So like one of my favorite things is like being lucid within the stage one of sleep, hypnagogic or hypnagogic, depending on how you want to say that word. But same thing basically. So you can be lucid in that liminal state. And that's one of my favorite things to do as well. But yeah, being lucid, I mean, you're still going through your REM cycles. When REM ends, you're pretty much going to wake up. You can do little things to like maintain the dream, keep it from breaking down, even when you can tell REM wants to be over and your sleep cycle is about to finish, but you only will push it out. Like 15 minutes would be a long time. And then, shouldn't really affect your sleep too much in
Mm.
a negative sense.
So in your experience, do you run lucid dreams every night, or like you pick and choose, or it happens like on occurrence, or it's like you tell yourself tonight I'm gonna have a lucid dream, so I'm gonna prep for it or put myself in that mindset, or it just happens every single time you sleep? Like how has it been for you?
Man, I wish it happened every single time I go to sleep, but that is definitely not the case. If you ever see anybody, like you go on Reddit, you look it up, oh yeah, they're getting lucid every night. Those guys are almost 100% bullshitting you. You know what I mean? Or even if it was every night, like, is it every single dream? Because like the sleep cycles are roughly 90 minutes, right? To say you go through like whatever, 4, 5, 6 different sleep cycles throughout the night. You're getting lucid in every single one of those dreams. I would imagine pretty much probably not. So like for me, I always go to sleep with the hope and desire, and I set intentions to try and have lucid dreams. But like for me, if I'm not trying, this has just been happening to me since I was a teenager. I'll have them about once a month or so. And then if I
Oh,
am really locked in and dialed in, and you can do a bunch of different techniques to try and have more lucid dreams. So if I'm implementing everything, then I could be pretty consistent with it, like, maybe like 3 nights a week, maybe more. And some of those nights will be like multiple dreams within that night. So, maybe I have like two or maybe even three lucid dreams in one night. So that can happen too.
okay. I noticed that you do a heavy amount of research and you dive deep into this community, and you read and break down books, and you kind of give a lot of insight to the books that you're reading and what you're gaining from them. So you have a YouTube channel, correct?
Yep, yep. Lucid Explorers, check them out.
Yeah, check that out, bro. It's pretty detailed, bro. You're for one, you're very good at your communication skills. Whatever you're trying to relay to your listeners comes across very well. You're very well spoken. But from all the research you're doing, how much has it changed the way you've been dreaming and how you create your own lucid dreams?
What's funny is like probably not too much actually. I mean, to be honest, like in the beginning, it helped a ton, right? Like in the because I was lucid dreaming since a teenager, but it was never on purpose. It was just on accident, have them once a month, whatever. But then once I started to take the practice seriously, the first few books I read, like the first one that really changed it was Andrew Holochek's book, Dream Yoga. So this is like the first book, and like a lot of these books, they really honestly say a lot of like, the same thing, just kind of
Mm.
presented in different ways. So I think the main thing that I can, the fact that I continue to read all these books and stuff like that, it just helped me more with ways to try and help other people have more lucid dreams. Like it really
Oh,
just built out my toolkit that maybe on stuff that I don't necessarily use because I have my own practice basically established in how I like it. But then when I'm helping other people, it gives me, a lot more options and different techniques and things that other people can try for their practice.
oh, that's super cool. And there is a community out there, correct? Like there's a lot of people that kind of dive into this and try to learn more and stuff, and you're heavily into that community. How big is this community, and locally how big is it?
Man, it seems big online, but I mean, still in my experience, it's probably pretty small. I mean, I started my channel specifically because I ran out of people in like my real physical life to go ahead and like interact and share with. So like I used to join local meetup groups. So I used to like run one too back in the day. And that was good, cool and fun, but it wasn't really enough for me. So then I branched out to online. And then once you're online, then there is a pretty big and always growing community out there. It is kind of
Hmm.
weird though, because like it's really split up into different camps, and the different camps like to fight all the time. You know what I mean? So you got the lucid dreamers, the more materialistic minded people, and then you have basically like the more spiritual minded, esoteric, astral projection, OBE type crowd. The OBE is kind of more like in the middle, right? And then you have kind of like more the astral projection crowd that, you know, and they might be right, but really think they're out there, visiting other dimensions and shared realities. And some of them think they're actually like roaming waking reality in their astral form and stuff like that. And I've ran some tests and experiments to try and prove that to myself because I don't believe it, but I like to leave the door cracked open to it being possible.
Hmm.
But nothing has ever been proven on my end. But the smallest of all three of those communities, seemingly, at least from my perspective, does seem to be the lucid dreaming community. Like the astral projection community, I would say without a doubt is bigger. I think mostly because it sounds more interesting. Like the somebody coming into the practice, especially if they already have this kind of lean towards spiritual type stuff, they'll start to lean more into to that side of things. So like I know that if I went more that route with my content, I probably would grow my channel faster. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I just don't quite believe it, so it's hard for me to really make a lot of videos on it. Although I have covered a couple books, more from like the OBE, astral projection type crowd, and so that's been a fun dive, kind of getting there and like pushing my belief systems a bit.
What is some of the response you've been getting from people that have been visiting your channel and kind of honing into what you've been teaching and sharing with your listeners? What are the responses you've been getting?
Shit, man, pretty much all good. You know what I mean? All mostly all good stuff. I got a few people on there. I mean, more than a few now. Over the years, it's been slowly growing. I mean, I forget how many years I'm into this now, but I think we're like actually making content online. Started like 2019-ish, so a good solid 5 years or so. So it's been nice, like a couple like people come in a lot. I interact a lot with them. Some other people who used to come in a lot, I helped a lot, and I think they kind of got their practice down and well enough established that I don't see them around that much anymore. But that's all good, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean that's actually my favorite part about having my channel. Really, it is interacting with people interested in the practice. And then even if they come from more of the astral projection side of things, you know what I mean? That's all good. I welcome them all, and we can have a nice discussion on things. I've tried to run experiments with people too from the community, or like, okay, we'll try meet up in a dream, try have
Oh
like a
shit.
shared dreaming experience. I could try and like say, okay, this is it. Now I believe. None of those have really hit. I've had some where like some of the more astral projection type crowd would try like to astral project through my house and then tell me things about my house. And I'd be like, oh, that'd be awesome. Because then I could kind of switch sides and believe in it more, although those are also generally a miss.
Bullshit.
You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Bro, at least you're open-minded to check it out, see if it really would work or not.
Oh yeah, man. You cannot be closed off to stuff like that. And my practice did actually help bring me around to spirituality more in a way, and kind of more like a religious aspect where I grew up very religious. We was going to church pretty much every Sunday, except for my dad. My dad somehow got to get out of it all the time. It'd be Sunday. Okay, we're going to church. My mom asked my dad, "Hey, Dad, Harrison, you coming?" Like, no. Like, well, how come he gets to stay home? Shoots, but
Watch
um,
football.
yeah. So like, so I had that, and then I had a couple experiences growing up, like getting baptized. And then on this other time, we were like passing out food on, I think it was Christmas, but it might have been Thanksgiving. But one of the big holidays, we sacrificed the day to go to Chinatown, pass out food. And out of both of those experiences, I had a very deep spiritual experience off of it. Like the baptized one happened first. That was before we passed out food on the holiday, and I wasn't expecting much from it. Went to Cockroach Bay too, which was cool because me and Pops would go there and surf and whatever. Sam would join us too. So we went over there. I went in not thinking much of it. When I popped out, it really felt to me like that was something. That felt real. And then I was full on religious, believed in it 100%. Then high school rolled around, started to question things more. Eventually went like full blown atheist at some point, and then that carried me through for a long time, like mostly pretty much like all the way through my 20s. And that, but then once I started to take my lucid dreaming practice more seriously, it opened me back up to just realizing we don't have all the answers, and spirituality and things like that. So that did open me back up to maybe not necessarily believing in like the Christian style of God per se, but definitely believing in something more than just us. We live, we die, nothing happens. Now I'm more open to the possibility. I think something probably does happen after we die. Now, is it exactly like it says in one book or some other religion? No, probably not, in my opinion. But I do think something happens. I don't know what
Yeah,
happens, but something.
I agree. I think something happens. I'm a Christian, so obviously I believe in that, but I always had the idea that religion was created to understand what that thing is, and it also is to give people um and whole communities of people, it helps them take away the fear of dying. Because if
Yeah,
you have a hope of something happening after, religion helps take that fear away. That was always
yeah.
my opinion. I definitely believe in God, and that some something's out there that happens, and I have experienced a few things in my life that helps me understand like that their guarantee is like there's definitely something going on.
Something. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
But
Totally.
I also noticed like some of your videos, you test out products and you test
Yeah.
out different things to help you to dream. And what is that?
This is one of the. It's a light machine, so it's a meditation device.
Oh shit, that wouldn't work on me, man. There's no way I could sleep with that.
You don't gotta sleep. You just gotta get into a deep meditative state. It works
Oh,
pretty good,
okay.
man. You should try them out.
I see that at the club all the time. Nah.
Yeah, yeah. You're right. Right.
But you're definitely open to it, like even just with pillows and different types of supplements. And like what are some of the stuffs you tried? And then I'll get into it later with one of our sponsors, the Red Reishi. Yeah, that stuff.
Oh,
Because I
yeah.
have good
Yeah.
experiences with that. But what are some of the products you've tried, and negatively and positively, how has it influenced not just your lucid dreams, but just sleep in general?
So I pretty much only review products because that's not really the main focus of the channel. Just when I find cool shit that I really like. So
Yeah.
basically, everything I reviewed on there has been dope. Like I have this like the last pillow talking about pillows, a millet hole pillow, millet holes. That
Okay.
is the best damn pillow ever. I love it. So it's kind of like the old like the Sobakawa pillow or like the
Yeah, I had
buckwheat
one of
pillow.
those. Yeah.
Okay, so it's like that, but way better because it's a bit softer. It forms better. It's quieter too because like the buckwheat pillows are kind of loud. Like I used
Yeah.
to have one and I liked it, but it just wasn't was kind of too noisy. And you move around, you hear all that sound. So millet hole pillows. If you guys are interested in
Okay.
that, you got to check that thing out. That thing's been super dope.
I'll try
Um,
that.
yeah, you got to, man. I mean, it's been awesome. Another one that helped out a lot was sleep, kind of like a side topic, but like saunas. So I have like a plug in the wall sauna where
Okay.
like So when you go to sleep, you want your core body temperature to drop. It's pretty much when you are the coldest is like right about your normal bedtime, and then throughout that night, then your body temperature rises, and that's one of the things that helps you to wake up in the morning. But
Hmm.
kind of paradoxically, you go into a sauna once you're done cooling off because your internal body temperature heats up so much, you actually end up cooler, right? Plus, it's
Oh,
hard
yeah,
work
yeah.
and it kind of sucks, right? So when you're done, you're like, oh, I'm just so exhausted. You lie down. That's a great way to do it. Also, a cold plunge, which I just got like industrial or like a company level uh, ice machine. Then I got
Oh,
like this,
wow.
simple thing you can fill up with water that you can fit inside, dump that in. That works great too. So like particularly like during the summer when it was really hot, we don't like to sleep with the AC on if the kids aren't in the room with us, so we can hear them if they're screaming or whatever. So you just go hop in the cold plunge. Doesn't even it doesn't even have to be that cold really. Like if it's in like the 50s, I find that to be plenty good enough. You have to stay in there a little bit longer, but stay 50 degrees, stay in there like 5, 6 minutes, get your core body temperature really nice and cold. So now when I go to sleep, I can still use my blanket, you know what I mean? Just because it's comfortable. And I would rather use a blanket than not use a blanket. So that's been a great help. Different devices and stuff like meditation devices, and of course, this one was pretty dope too. The
Yeah.
red reishi mushroom extract. So yeah, there's a lot of good shit out there.
That's cool. I definitely had the soba cow pillow, but for me, like when I grabbed it or like the smell, it just smelled dusty. Like, yeah, I didn't care
Yeah.
for it too much. The I wouldn't mind trying it out though, what you said, the millet hole. I would want to try that. I'm always
Oh man,
down to figure out.
it has a kind of a smell to it though.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? So
Yeah, yeah.
so put some essential oils on that fucker or something.
Yeah, yeah. But shoot, you've been trying out different things. Have you like ever smoked weed or did mushrooms or stuff like or alcohol? Has that helped or kind of not so much?
So yes to all of them. But so I mean, alcohol definitely does not help for
Okay.
any reason. You know what I mean? Alcohol definitely fucks shit up. I mean, well, I guess one way it can kind of help because it makes your sleep so bad, right? It mostly makes it bad. So like maybe you drink alcohol, it helps you fall asleep quicker, right?
Yeah.
But then it's gonna just mess up your when you sleep, you go through those different sleep cycles we were talking about earlier, which are dominated by brain waves. And so when you sleep drunk, it messes with all of that. So even if you get a good 8 hours of sleep, but you drank a lot, you're still not going to wake up feeling good. And part of that reason is, aside from the hangovers, it just messed up with your sleep cycle. Similarly, marijuana does the same thing there, where maybe you fall asleep quicker, or you fall asleep process is better, but it does mess with your with your sleep cycle and your brain waves and all of that. One thing that marijuana is good for, and also mushrooms as well, is doing like more hypnagogic stage one of sleep meditation or
Hmm.
dream work through that because it can help. Like marijuana, more specifically, because I've tried that more than I've tried mushrooms. But you know what I mean. Marijuana can help a lot if you're going to do more of the like stage one of sleep, dream work type stuff for sure.
Hmm. What was your experience with mushrooms? And I wanted to ask you the kind of lucid feeling and dreaming that you were doing. Would that be kind of equivalent to the same kind of things you'd be tripping when you took mushrooms? Because I've done a hero's journey before, and I was wondering if those two are kind of similar.
Yeah, I mean, to me, they're super similar. You know what I mean? And like that's why I like when Joe Rogan would talk a lot about DMT and stuff like that, because I've done that as well. And like, I mean, it definitely works. I mean, of course, they're great because it's a guaranteed way to get you to this really trippy state of mind.
Yeah.
But you have the lingering hangover effect from it and all of that, and you can get very similar experiences and wake up the next day feeling amazing off of lucid dreaming. Granted, it's just a lot harder to come by. You got to do all this other stuff and then also get kind of lucky to have it. But um, shrooms are cool. You know what shrooms are really great for? and I bet you could probably guess, but using light machines or mind machine type stuff. Mind machines are basically light machines that are synced up to binaural beats. Have you ever heard of those where you basically be listening to something with headphones on, you have sound coming out of one ear at a specific frequency, and then a different frequency, but also a very specific frequency in the other ear. And they figured this out in like the 60s or 70s. But anyway, it gets your brain waves to match up to it. So you combine stuff like that with mushrooms or even with marijuana, and you can have some really powerful experiences off of that. I mean, for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, mushrooms was a trip, and it dives deep into your subconscious and creates thoughts and memories and visions that may have been there already that you don't remember. Or for me it was kind of made me come into terms with stuff that I kind of suppressed. So it was a definitely positive, good experience for me. A little heavy, and it kind of it for me it took away the bullshit blinders. Like anything that you created in your head that was bullshit, gone. Now you're just dealing with reality. So it felt really clean, and I felt a really big sense of love when I took it, and it was a while ago, but probably one of the best things that I've done to make myself a better person. It was pretty life altering. I never really admitted it on this show before, but yeah, it was a trip.
Yeah, like doing like psychedelics and stuff like that. When you have a good trip, they're great, but man, when they're bad, they are so bad. You know what I mean? And you're fucked. You're stuck there for hours. There ain't no getting out. You just gotta sit there and take it. But they
Yeah.
can definitely be super powerful. Like I don't know if you remember, he only trained with us for a little while, but my friend Alex that came to a couple of classes. I
Hmm.
mean, I think he only went for like a maybe like a couple months
Maybe
before.
by
But anyway,
face.
he took a bunch of shrooms and then actually went bipolar off it.
Oh shit.
So that's another scary part to taking those.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Like it was more of a for me. I had some friends that were doing it the right way, like with a purpose, and
Yeah,
it I had to prepare myself. It took like multiple months for me to prepare myself until I was finally ready. And so I went at it like it wasn't like, oh, let's go take some shrooms and
yeah.
trip
You
balls. It
weren't
was,
partying.
yeah, yeah, it was like I I did it the right way with kind of a spiritual guide doing it.
Yeah,
And it was like I said, probably one of the top five best things I've done to make myself a better person and helped me understand a lot of my past, also stuffs with my parents. And it was pretty cool. And I got a lot of tools to how to handle different emotions moving forward in my life now. It was I wouldn't I would recommend it to everybody, but you got to be ready and you need to
yeah.
do it the right way. I would assume, but I was wondering how similar are the lucid dreams into to experiencing mushrooms. Like is
Uh,
it like spot on, or is like there's no comparison?
no. They're pretty similar, but I mean, it would have to also be. I mean, so obviously, not like every lucid dream will be like that. I mean, most won't, but you can have absolutely really trippy type experiences that not only look like the type of trips or experiences that you might be having while taking psychedelics, but as far as like the mental breakthroughs and things that you can absolutely have that as well through a dream work practice for sure.
Yeah. Well, speaking of mushrooms, I've known, and I was super stoked that you went ahead and tried it, because this red reishi from our sponsor, Med Mushroom Hawaii, yeah, that stuff for
Yeah.
me has been a game changer for sleep. And they have these other three mushrooms, and I've noticed a gradual change maybe throughout like the month of when I first started taking them. But the for me, the red reishi was like a immediate change. Within 2 nights of taking red reishi, I felt like, oh, I was had a better, deeper, and more restful sleep. And when I woke up, I felt way more refreshed. And the change was immediate. And I was like, okay, when I seen that you were gonna kind of use it as a trial for your show, I was like, okay, I'm not even gonna explain to him what's going on with me with it. I just want to hear like what experiences you had because you're kind of more of a authority on the topic. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. I really want to know like what his experience was with the red reishi.
Yeah, so I mean, I liked it a lot. So I found that it helped me. So like when I do go to sleep and I dream journal, I always capture certain things like how easy it was for me to fall asleep. And I'll typically will do that by a time weighted thing. So like I pretty much always give myself 1 hour of time. I'm not going to be stressing about it to lie in bed and fall asleep. Now, most of the time I will fall asleep quicker than that, but that's kind of my gauge. If I go over an hour, that's when I'll mark it down more negatively, when I note it in
Mm.
my dream journal. Then if I fall asleep quickly within like say quick for me would be like 20 minutes or less, then I'll give that a 3. I go on like a 3 point scale. So like 2 is within an hour, 1 is over an hour, 3 is quick. And the falling asleep, the red reishi absolutely seemed to help me with that. And then I did have now it was still kind of within my norm range for lucid dreams, but I was having good dreams with it. And if nothing else, I think just because it seemed to help me get, more restful sleep, I also track up how I feel when I get up. So
Yeah.
the red reishi was certainly helping me fall asleep quicker. And then I was waking up feeling more refreshed, but kind of within that, waking up feeling more refreshed. And plus, when I was doing the experiment, because I was dedicating my time to the experiment, I played less video games. So I went to sleep earlier and I got more sleep. So all that, as a byproduct would give me more dreams in general and also up the chances of me having more lucid dreams. But the lucid dreams were also kicking with that. One combo I found that worked really good though, for the lucid dreaming route is the red reishi mixed with time release B6, and
Oh,
um,
okay.
and that seemed to work really good for me.
Oh, that's super good to hear. I think, yeah, I mean, the other mushrooms are super good too, but it for me it was the red reishi for the sleep because it was like a immediate, like I said, like a immediate change in everything. Also, I wanted to ask you for diet and exercise, and also, like you said, you were playing more video games now, kind of changing your sleep pattern. How has those three things been more beneficial or negatively impacting your dreams and sleep, especially diet?
Yeah, well, diet. So right now, you ever heard of the 75 hard
No.
challenge? It's some challenge they have out there. I never heard of it either until my coworker was bugging me to go ahead and do it. So for 75 days straight, I guess I'm actually doing the 75 soft, they call it. But the real way to do it is you go 75 days straight. You got to follow a diet that whole time. If you miss one day along that 75-day path, you go back to day one. So if you were on like
Oh.
day 74 and you fuck up, you're supposed to go back to day one, of which is why I am not doing that by any means. So then the other part of that, you're supposed to work out twice a day for 45 minutes at least each, one of which has to be outside. So that's too hard for me to commit to for 75 days, but I'm doing at least one workout a day for 75 minutes, drink a
Oh,
gallon of
wow.
water at least a
Okay.
day, and then try and get better sleep. But one thing I found, so for my diet is what I'm doing is I'm just doing intermittent fasting.
Hmm.
And that one to me can absolutely help with the dream work practice, specifically because if you're not eating as much, right, you tend to get tired a little bit earlier. Plus, I mostly want to eat at nighttime. And so instead of trying to fight this urge to eat all night, I'll just say, screw it, I'll go to sleep earlier, right? But that can work really good too. And then plus sometimes if you're really hungry and thinking about food a lot, you can start to work in reality checks throughout the day. Like a
Hmm.
reality check is something you're doing throughout the day that eventually you want to carry over into your dreams. And it's a way to do like a scientific test essentially to prove to yourself if you're awake or if you're dreaming. Because right now, who knows, man? You could be dreaming right now, right? Because every time you're dreaming, you think you don't actually realize what's going on, right? So then
Yeah.
throughout the day, when you get hungry, I would do a reality check. A simple one is you just look at your hand, because hands a lot of times will be screwed up in dreams for whatever reason. They'll be blurry. You'll have too many fingers. So look at my hand. I like to count my fingers like this, make sure everything's right. And then when you work that habit in enough within the daytime, at nighttime, mid dream, just randomly you'll be thinking about food. You'll have this habit built in to do your reality check, and that can help you get lucid right there. And then on top of that, like back in the day when you used to have like dream temples in like Greece or I don't know where, but really long time ago, part of the things people would do is on this journey to the dream temple, probably would take multiple days. A very common thing was for them to fast. It was a way to like sacrifice, something to go ahead and have this experience at the dream temple. But similarly, I think if you're going through that throughout the day, you think to yourself, okay, I'm fasting, with a purpose. I'm fasting for, to have this more impactful dream. And then that just helps sink that intention in deeper.
Hmm.
And then as a result, can up the chances of you potentially having a lucid dream. So for me, that's been the main thing I've noticed. I've tried messing around with different diets and things where people will say, you eat a banana. I'm just pulling it out the air, but you eat something and then it's supposed to help you have better dreams. So I've done little experiments like that over the years, but never really noticed any big difference, when it came to that specifically.
So playing video games, how has that impacted your sleep cycle and your dreaming? Is it just because you're staying up later, or is it because of the visual stimulation and excitement and dopamine you've been getting from the video games?
So, I mean, it kind of goes two ways. So, in one way, and this is kind of the most immediately impactful way, video games is like my number one killer of my dream work practice by a million billion miles because my time to game is when after the family goes to sleep, put the kids to sleep, watch a show, do something, hang out with my wife, and then say like 10:30, I can come up and start playing video games. But then, I'll get stuck into playing it. I want to try and stop by 12, but I'm having too much fun. I go to sleep at 2. And then, instead of getting like 7 or 8 hours of sleep, now I'm getting like 4 or 5 hours. And, that is, if you're only getting like 5.5, less than 6 hours of sleep, it's going to be very, very hard to have a good dream work practice. Mostly because just the longer you sleep, you spend exponentially more time per sleep cycle in REM, right? And so if you're waking up at like the 6 hour, 5.5 hour mark, you're missing out on a ton of potential dream time. And then also because your mind will be more tired and sleepy, it's just harder for it to really be sharp and realize that and realize and try and get yourself lucid. Like most of the time when people get lucid, it tends to be, later in the night, like right before the morning where you've already had like 7 hours of sleep. That's that's the best time to try and get lucid right there. So
Hmm.
it's definitely killed it in that sense. But in another sense, video games, and there's been studies on this as well, can actually help lucid dreaming a lot, particularly because it gets you used to controlling this like 3D virtual environment, right?
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
essentially what you're doing within a lucid dream. And so
Hmm.
a lot of those perspectives and skills and realizations really can actually help you have more lucid dreams. Like I forget the study now off the top of my head, but there's been several where they were saying like video gamers have more lucid dreams by a decent percentage over people who don't. So it
Oh,
can help for sure.
that's super interesting. I wouldn't never have thought, but it makes sense. I know I
Yeah.
don't you're probably competitive like me, and that's what messes me up playing video games. Like, I cannot go to sleep on a loss, or like if I
Can I have
gotta
a
pass this
game?
one
Gotta be a
level.
good one.
Yeah. And that's why I hardly
Yeah.
play, because like just be I would take it personal and then be up till 4 in the morning, and then next thing you know, it's like, okay, now I'm not getting any sleep. You know what I mean? Like,
Miles,
but
just stay up already. Keep playing for another couple hours.
yeah. I also want to ask you, because you have children, have you tried to teach or help or even record some of your children's dreams, and have you been teaching them how to lucid dream?
Oh yes, big time. I mean, well, right now, so only my older son is the only one who's had lucid dreams and stuff like that so far. But man, I love to teach him about it because I know sooner or later, they're gonna have one,
Yeah.
and it could really, could really just blow their minds and change their lives with it. Like even with the younger one, when he wakes up, oftentimes I'll wake him up whispering in his ear, like, "Are you dreaming? Are you dreaming?" But the problem is, then he wakes up and he listens to me, and if not dreaming, I do like them to share their dreams with me. But the younger one, he just kind of really barely ever recall them. The older one though does share his dreams with me. I remember like the very first lucid dream he had that I actually believed. Because a lot of times I just think they're lying to me. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't sound that legit. But so my older son was having this dream where they were snowboarding across mountain peaks from island to island, like going across the island chain, right? And he
Hmm.
realized, oh wait, you can't do that, right? I must be dreaming. And so then he got lucid at that point, and then it's been years since he told me this, but at some point he sees by this tree there's like a pile of lucid dreaming books over there, and he wants to bring them back to me, right? So he picks them all up and wakes himself up, and he's like, "Oh damn it, I don't got the books with me anymore." But it was little
Oh.
details like that that I was like, "Oh, this sounds like a legit lucid dream to me," as opposed to some of the other ones he's telling me. I'm like, I don't know about that. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I mean, if nothing else, it gets them more interested in in sleep, because I'm
Yeah.
always over here like preaching,
Go
get
to
better
bed.
sleep, even though I'm over here staying up till 2 in the morning playing video games. But you know what I mean. So, um, got them to do that. Like, I got them to, at least the younger one. The older one hates taking naps, but because I love to take naps.
Oh
Naps are
yeah.
amazing. But so like even though he's 6 now, he's kind of old to still be taking naps. He enjoys it. We'll lie down there. We also meditate together, although I'm sure he's not listening to it. But a lot of times when I'm going to sleep with them, I'll play like a little guided meditation track. And so we'll lie there together. I'm following along, and typically, within like 10 minutes or so, because that's how long most of the meditations we do, the younger boy's asleep. So been good.
Nice. Oh, that's super cool. I also wanted to know, you said you did the cold plunge and stuff. How beneficial has that been? Not just for dreaming, but just in overall health in general. I have friends that do the cold plunge. I am traumatized from it because of Master Smith. We had to do it, and I was stuck in one of his trash cans, and he wouldn't let me out. And yeah, I've never done it since. But
Man, you guys were doing cold plunge way back then too.
oh yeah, he put us in, that big gray trash can that he had? We did it in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you couldn't just climb out. Like someone had to carry you out. And he just stick me in Lyle. Like we'd go and we'd be yeah. And ever since then I never tried it. My friend made one out of a freezer. Like
Yeah,
he sealed it, put made it, yeah, and it he keeps asking me to do it, and I'm just like, I don't know. And like I'll test it, like I'll put my hand in a cooler, and I'm like, there's no way I'm putting my whole body in a cooler. But I want to
yeah. So
try
I
it.
mean,
It's more of a mental block, I think. But how beneficial
yeah.
has it been? 'Cause I know you do a lot, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I cold plunge every day, multiple times a day. I mean, mostly
Oh,
because I got this ice machine constantly pumping out ice. You know what I mean? So I'm constantly filling up coolers. I gotta use it, right? So
yeah.
I'm in there all the time. Now, so like I guess like the one of the main benefits to say is like helps with inflammation and all that kind of stuff. And I'm assuming that is true, right? But nothing that I've really been able to notice. Like I'm all bust up and sore. I went to like a double. I went back kickboxing too, by the way.
Oh,
Side
where at?
story there, but at O2 in
Oh,
Pearl City,
nice.
or I guess
Oh, super
IAM.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
So like we went over there. I did a double class, went from kickboxing to jujitsu, all bust up, sore and broken. So I will, after stuff like that, I will definitely hop in the cold plunge, but I still wake up sore the next day. I mean, I think it can help too. I mean, at least like once you get out and you're all numb, it helps with the pain at that moment. But the main thing I like about it is the mental work it takes to do it, right?
Yeah.
And then plus, like I call it like my cold shield. Like I go in there, I drop my core body temperature so much, and I'm typically such a hot and sweaty person that now I'm nice and cool. I don't got to worry about sweating for the next couple hours and things like that. So I really like it. It's also good to cut down on caffeine,
Mm.
right? So I can if I get going on caffeine, I can drink way too much of it. But being able to hop into the cold plunge in the morning, I can skip that morning coffee. It's just a
Oh,
nice way to kind of shock yourself awake. Plus, you feel extra clean and refreshed when you come out of it. So that's really my favorite aspects. It's just the mental clarity will give me. Like before hopping on this, I jump at the cold plunge.
oh,
You know what I mean? Just to kind of give my brain that little bit of awakening if I have a mental block at work. Because luckily I get to work. I'm home based. You know what I mean? So I do most of my work from the home. I'm trying to write up some big report, or I'm putting together a training topic, and I have this mental block. Instead of having to go grab some coffee, let's go hop in the cold plunge.
hmm.
And it's really worked amazingly well for that.
Huh, I might want to try it out. I think, yeah, I definitely been trying to test my mental strength a lot. I recently did, well, not recent, but in August we did the Spartan race, which was something that I
Oh
wanted to
yeah,
do.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was intense. That definitely took a lot of mental strength.
How
And
what distance you did?
was it the blue one? It was the 5 mile, I forget,
Oh, that
20,
yeah, yeah.
25.
That's a
Yeah.
pretty so not the 5K, because I mean they have like a 3 mile one too, right, or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Oh, 6 miles. It was 6 miles, 30 obstacles. I could be getting it wrong. Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
It
man,
wasn't
those are
the
fun. I haven't done
marathon
those in
one.
years.
Yeah.
Oh, those marathon ones suck. I did. I
Yeah.
mean, it was like I think it was like half a marathon. It was like 12 miles or something.
Yeah, I
Was
didn't
it
do that
10
one.
miles? But that one really sucked. I don't need to do that again. But I find that I used to do those all the time, and I would do them like every
Oh,
year they would come. But like, yeah, the 6-ish mile one, the middle one,
yeah.
that's like that's the perfect length.
Yeah. And it was my first time. And for me, the mental strength of getting to train for something again. So I would wake up and go run. And for my daughter to see that, I would wake up, make her breakfast, go run, and for her to see me train for something and then accomplish that goal was kind of good for me. So I like it was good to feel like I was training for something and kind of pushing myself, because I mean I haven't done that since we were competing, and it's different but still the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then especially when you got like your daughter, because she's training volleyball all the time. I see your
Yeah.
videos. So I mean, that's great to do that. I mean, that's one of the things I like most too about as your kids start to get older. So now I'm working out with the 10-year-old turning 11 tomorrow, actually.
Oh,
So,
nice.
so we working out together. He said he wanted to do the Great Aloha Run. So I'm okay. Then if you're doing it, then we actually got to train. So we've been like running laps around the block. I love it. I mean
Yeah.
that's super awesome. So
Yeah. That's cool.
super
And
cool.
it's something that I've done with my dad. Like my dad used to train me at the gym and stuff like that. And so did your dad. When you guys
Yeah,
started training taekwondo and kickboxing, your dad was there as well as your brother. So your dad was leading by example and
yeah.
incorporating that into your guys' life. And now you're doing that with your kids, and it's like a full circle. It's pretty cool. Your dad was super cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun, man. Have you
Yeah.
ever done you seen that push-up challenge? Um, it's not Queen Tally. I always call it like Queen Tally up. Bring bring Sally up. I mean, it's not
No,
like
I never.
bring Sally up,
Yeah,
bring
yeah,
Sally down, da 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 da. So
yeah.
like, it's basically like I think it's like 3 minutes 25 seconds. If you do all the reps, it's about 30 different reps, but it gets very hard, right? Like typically
Hmm.
it's a push-up challenge, but I mean doing it with my son, we do it to like everything. We'll like be curling, like doing something really light, like 15 pounds or something, but you just gotta hold it like this for 3.5 minutes. And it's a big mental struggle more than
Yeah,
anything else. But I found my son kills it at that stuff. Even like talking about the cold water thing, putting your hand in
yeah,
like ice water, right? That's a classic pain tolerance challenge. Yeah,
yeah.
man, my older son, he he kills it. He won't take it out. Like I try to beat him, and now that I know I don't like I can't really beat him because I tried really hard the first time. I'm like, okay, screwed, man. You got me on that one. That shit hurt.
That is
For some
cool.
reason, a cold plunge isn't as hard. I don't know. Like I find just
Oh,
the hand in the cold water is harder than put your whole body in there. You
huh,
know
that's
what I
good to
mean?
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask you, after the first time you recorded and came on my show, I had a lot of people hitting me up about not really lucid dreams, but dream analysis. Like,
Mm.
oh, does he do dream analysis? Does he know what your dreams mean? And I never asked you that, and I feel like it's two separate things, if I'm correct.
Yeah. Yeah. So they are totally two separate things. And so I've done that a few times with like people I know. But I think to really give good dream analysis, you have to know the person very well, right? And so it's hard to do if you don't know them super well. And then on top of that, I do also kind of feel like, unless it's somebody I know like extremely well, like maybe my kids or something, kind of just like throwing darts in the dark, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
just see what you
yeah.
come up with. So I think when it comes to dream analysis, I don't really do it too much. I just think it's more going to come from the own person's perspective. They just got to look at it. I mean, they should dream journal, right? Dream
Yeah.
journal, and then you can kind of read through it, and then also go back to it after time passes, and then you can try to find some running themes. Something I've noticed in my own personal practice, which I guess is kind of obvious, but if you're in a really stressful time of life, right, then the dreams don't always match up, but that tends to give you more crappy, negative, stressed out dreams.
Hmm.
You're in a really happy time of life. Think things tend to follow there, but yeah, I haven't done too much dream analysis myself though.
Yeah, it was like I always, oh, if you get a like there's like these dream books, and if you dream this, this, and this, you look it up in a book, and this is what it means. I feel like it's not that cut and dry.
Yeah, okay, so those dream books are total BS in my opinion.
Okay,
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
that
what
that
I.
that, that stuff makes no makes no damn. You dream of a snake, it means this. It's like no
Yeah.
way. I mean, it depends on like your own personal upbringing, background, and beliefs. Then it can represent certain stuff like that. But when it does come to dream interpretation or like dream analysis and things like that, because I always tend to focus on like lucid dreaming stuff. And I had one of the regulars on my channel pointed this out to me, and I didn't really go too much deeper into it, but I thought it made a lot of sense. Where a lot of times when it comes to dream analysis, they tend to discount lucid dreams more than regular dreams, just because your conscious awareness is in there, and it can kind of like muck things up or muck up, what's happening within it, because whatever you're thinking and your feeling is going to affect what's happening. Versus like
Hmm.
doing dream analysis on regular non-lucid dreams. But then in a similar sense, if you are lucid within the dream, this wouldn't be so much dream analysis. It's just more like trying to find answers within the dream space. Then I think it can actually be more beneficial because then you can just ask dream characters questions and
Yeah.
basically get a response from your subconscious and essentially, and then try to find answers to whatever your question may be.
Oh, that makes sense. Oh man, this was super enlightening. I think we hit every topic I wanted to kind of talk to you about, and
I got one
yeah,
more, or two more actually.
who was that?
Okay, so the first one is because you brought it up, you gotta share with me your lucid dream, man. What happened in it?
Oh, that lucid dream had something to do with our pet cat, and it was our cat got not escape but left the house because it was not in captivity. You know what I mean? Like it left the house
Oh,
and
I
we
mean, do
couldn't
you let your cat
find it.
leave? I'm always scared to do that. Think
No,
my
we
cat's not gonna
don't. We
come back.
don't, but
You
but
don't.
it did in my dream.
Oh, right.
And then it was just us navigating. It was me navigating how to find them. And I felt like I was controlling where I was looking. And then I remember thinking his feeder over here goes off at a certain time. And I remember, let's go back to the feeder at that time, and that's where the cat was. And I controlled myself doing that. That was
Oh,
that was
nice.
it. And that it was something I remembered and something I remember like creating the actions in the dream. It was like I chose to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
back there.
Yeah,
I
you
chose
chose
to,
where to
yeah.
go. You went, oh wait, the alarm would go off. That's where you should
Yes,
be, and
yeah.
then you went there.
And then I was thinking, was I just like half asleep or like, and I was like, oh, that must have been what a lucid dream was. Like it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like
I
the,
mean, because there's a
yeah,
big like sliding scale of lucidity. You could be kind of lucid, or you could be super lucid, and anywhere,
yeah,
you know, in between. But if you are lucid, if you ever want to find something, one of the good ways to do it is because you can just kind of rep this out until it works. Because basically, the reason why you found your cat there is because you thought it makes sense. So you like expected the cat to be there. And
yeah.
expectation plays a huge role within the dreams. So a quick way to kind of do that, if you're trying to find anything within the dream space, is you can just kind of break your line of sight to it, and then say, for example, spin around and then try expect it to be behind you, or you can kind
Oh,
of just go like this, block your vision with your hand, and then expect it to be out there in front of you. So that's just a nice way to kind of if you're trying to search out
to
whatever within
test
your
it,
dream, that's a nice
test it out.
little trick that can help you find that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, that was it, and that seemed like the closest thing that I could recall that was similar to what you were describing or what your videos describe. And I was like, oh, that's pretty much what it was. It was probably God telling me to get you back on the show.
There you go. Thank you,
Yeah.
God. Okay. And then my next question is totally off topic. This came from a long time ago. I heard you referencing MGK, right? You don't like him, right?
Oh,
Machine Gun Kelly. Okay, right?
yeah.
Okay, but tell me not. So when he was beefing with Eminem,
Yeah.
MGK's Rap Devil song killed Eminem. No,
I
you don't
don't
think so,
know.
or what?
Okay, I listened to his song, but did you listen to Eminem's rebuttal?
Both of them. So he had Kill Shot, and I forget the name of but he released two, right, against MGK.
I just heard Kill Shot. And I
Okay, yeah,
remember
Kill Shot.
because my friend Chris Styles, he's on the radio, like
Oh yeah.
posted something, and then he sent me the fucking file of it. And I remember I was at the gym and I was listening to it, and I'm like, oh my God,
Oh,
this
which one though? You're listening to Kill Shot or
Kill
Rap
Shot,
Devil?
Kill Shot.
Okay, Kill Shot.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one Eminem shot back, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And technically he took Machine Gun Kelly out the whole freaking genre of
Um,
music.
Man, I don't know, man. I like Rap Devil better.
Oh, okay. Well, that's your. But I gotta admit, I do like MGK's alternative music. It reminds me of Blink, and obviously he has Travis Barker playing drums for him.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah, yeah,
like that style of music, and his sound is very late 90, early 2000 ish, like
yeah.
Blink 182. So I really like his rock stuff. But his raps were
You don't like
cool,
that?
but I thought, oh, I thought Eminem just like, bro, like Eminem ended his rap career. Eminem pretty much ended Limp Bizkit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah. He has killed many people.
yeah,
Eminem has ended many careers.
yeah. So that's just my opinion, and it's something that I'm not a huge fan of the genre. I like rap and I'll listen to it here and there, but I'm a rocker. I like rock the most. I'm actually
Yeah.
going to a Metallica concert in June at Levi Stadium. Yeah.
Oh, I was like, man, is Metallica coming here? Shit, that'd be
Oh no,
dope.
yeah,
You gotta
I've
fly for
went every
that one.
single time and I just found out yesterday that when we go to Las Vegas for my daughter's volleyball tournament in April, Motley Crue has a residency at the MGM, so we're gonna go to that.
Man, they still playing music? How old are
I
those
don't know
guys, bro?
how, because those guys did so much drugs. I don't even know how they're still alive, but whatever.
True that, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be cool. Yeah.
GK Brock stuff is dope. The only problem with that for me, I mean, and I do like him, man. I liked him since his like mixtape days. But like once he went the rock route, like I don't know if this is his girl's influence on him, uh Megan, Megan Fox or whatever. But
Yeah.
man, then he got like all femmed out half the time.
Emote
You know what I
and
mean?
yeah,
Yeah, he's either looking like super hardcore gangsta dude, or he's like all in pink and
emo,
like, you
yeah.
know, yeah, it's like, oh, bro, what the
Yeah.
hell, man? What happened?
Hey, he had a hot chick though. So
Yeah,
whatever.
hey, yeah, whatever, man. He's
Yeah.
winning in life.
Yep, guarantee. All right, man. We've been going for over an hour. Where can people find you on your YouTube, Instagram, and whatnot?
Oh yeah, so you can find me at Lucid Explorers on everything. I believe Instagram is Lucid_Explorers, and then like TikTok and YouTube is just whatever the thing is slash Lucid Explorers. You can reach me there. You can email me at lucidexplorers@yahoo.com. And yeah, I'm happy to help out with anything. Typically, what I focus on is like meditation stuff, and then lucid dreaming stuff, of course. But you know, and then also sleep, and that's my main grounds. Oh, one more thing. I know we're going long, but
No
how's your
worries.
meditation going? Because haven't you been planning on like picking that up for I think like the last couple of years? I hear you bring up meditation every once in a while or
I
wanting to
try
start it up.
it. I try it honestly, and to be honest, I fall asleep or I get distracted. I cannot clear my mind. And that's been a huge problem for me. Even when I sleep, like I need to turn on the TV and doze off, or my mind just creates different thoughts, or I focus on different things and it just keeps me up. And I think a lot of that personally had to do when I was going through my divorce. I couldn't go to sleep because as soon as I turn off the TV and try to go to sleep,
Everything's in your head.
everything is in my head. So I would just focus on TV until it kind of just dozes me down. And because my mind is focused on TV, I'm focused on what I'm watching. Then it kind of closes. So meditation is the same. If I try to meditate, I can't clear my mind to have like a meditation state. I start thinking of this, I gotta do that, gotta figure this out. So I try multiple times and I either fall, like I said, I'll fall asleep or I won't clear my mind.
Are you so when you're doing it, you're sitting up or you're lying down?
Sitting up, I've tried lying down, I've tried standing, I tried what else? I tried at a
Like the walking
beach.
meditation?
I never tried walking. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Man,
that
well,
for
if it
me,
puts you to sleep, then just meditate to sleep, kind of like how I put our younger son to sleep, right? We do the
yeah,
meditation, boom, he passes out. But so
yeah.
I was thinking
Oh,
about this, and I was thinking that this might benefit you specifically if hard time ignoring the thoughts and feelings that are coming up, right? And that's one of the standard things you want to do within a meditation practice, right? You learn to let thoughts go. Problem is,
yeah.
hard thing to try and wrap your mind around, right? So an easy way I found to kind of just rep this out in like a guaranteed way is with breath work. Have you ever experimented with like holding your breath and doing stuff like that?
Yeah, I was turned on to this guy William
Oh yeah,
Hoff.
yeah, Wim Hof.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've done stuff in the morning like with breath work like that, but not at night or for meditation.
Okay, so one of the good things I found with it is it's a good way once you have that urge to breathe, right? Because that urge it's going to come on sooner than later, and so you
Yeah.
can learn to kind of stay one step removed from that urge and feeling to breathe, right? Which is essentially what you want to do when you're learning to let let thoughts go and all of that. So a nice quick way to do it, the way I like to do it, is you exhale out first, kind of like you would do with Wim Hof, actually, right? But minus the whole hyperventilating stuff
Yeah, yeah.
beforehand, right? Exhale out, close your, hold your breath, and then as that urge that starts to breathe starts to kick in, you just practice staying one step removed from it, and then a nice way to give a nice clear indicator on when you can breathe and when you want to essentially give in and breathe is you wait till there's like real physiological signs of it, right? So first, typically what will happen at some point is your stomach will start to contract, right?
Hmm.
Typically kind of weak at first, then it gets harder because really you have this urge to breathe, but you don't really need to breathe yet, right? You can go minutes without breathing. And
Yeah.
especially if you exhale out, the urge to breathe will come on like, under a minute easily, right?
Yeah.
So then your stomach starts to contract harder and harder. You just keep trying to ignore it. And then normally what happens for me is after the stomach starts to contract pretty hard, I'll start to uncontrollably gulp. And then if I make it that long, that's plenty long already, right? That's going to be quite difficult to make it there. But then you just breathe in. And one of the cool things about exhaling first is that when it is time to breathe, all you got to do is inhale. As opposed to
Mm.
if you inhaled first, held your breath, then when you hold it, you got to blow air out and then breathe in,
Oh, that makes sense.
right?
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I found that to be really good. So you rep that out, you rest for about a minute, right? And then you blow your air out again, you hold your breath. And then this is, it's good. It's good for meditation. It's good for learning how to drop stuff. It's good for just a mental workout. And like
Mm.
kind of like the cold plunge is
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
of that. Also works great for clearing your nose. If you have like a really plugged nose, guaranteed way to clear that nose is you hold your breath, right? Because then your body thinks you're going to suffocate to death. So it will do whatever it's got to do to just clear up all of that, right? So even if my nose is really plugged and I'm going to sleep, I'll rep a couple of rounds of this, get my nose clear. Now, if I'm really sick and congested, of course, it just plugs up right away. But especially if you're on that edge where your nose you think is almost going to be clear, but it's just a little bit plugged, do a couple rounds of this breath hold. When you breathe in through your nose in this case, not through your mouth, right? Just to really have all that extra air come in there. And it can work great at clearing the nose, meditation, and mental workouts. So
Oh, I'll definitely try that for sure. Yep. Yeah. Maybe that'll help
cool.
me be able to meditate or clear my mind for sure.
Yeah. I mean, holding breath, I find is a very fun little meditative mini session to do. Especially when you
Okay.
get to that nice, because after a couple of times, I mean, especially after you do a couple rounds, after you rest it for a minute, it gets a lot easier. It's kind of the same thing. I think Wim Hof would do that as well, right? You do multiple rounds of it, and it gets easier, right, as you get
Yeah.
deeper into it. And then you can have these nice, really calm moments within your mind. And then that can give you a nice little glimpse at, you're not really supposed to have an actual goal when you meditate, although I like to have a goal when I meditate. But it gives you a kind of goal and goalpost that you want to reach when you are doing your meditation to try and find these nice moments of calm clarity. So yeah.
Oh, right on. All right. Well, oh, and for us, you can find us at Above the Bridge Podcast on Instagram, YouTube. Our website is atbpod.com, and my Instagram's Thaddy Daddy Hi. Bro, it's always good to talk to you, man. I appreciate you coming on and sharing. I know this is something that you're passionate about, so I can tell it comes out easily to you. So it's always good, fun conversations with you, especially with this stuff.
Yeah, man, that was a blast. Thanks for having me on. One topic we didn't touch on, this would be way too long. We ain't gonna crack this now, but maybe in a future episode is stage one of sleep hypnagogic liminal work. Not many people
Okay.
talk about that, but I find that to be the perfect training ground for lucid dreaming because it's a lot easier to get to consistently, as opposed to trying to get lucid randomly in the middle of the night when you're in REM, because you got to pass through stage one of sleep every time you're falling asleep. So that would be a fun one I think to do next in the
Yeah.
future.
We'll definitely come back on. And I also do want to talk to you about our when we used to train.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially now
that'll
that
be
I'm going
fun.
back to class.
Yeah.
People
I
always
had I
ask me,
had Lyle
"Oh,
on
so
one
where do you
time.
kick?" Oh,
Yeah.
I listened to that one. That was
Yeah.
cool. Like, oh, where do you train? I was like, oh, I used to train at Smith's, and of course they all know him. Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Matt. I was like, hey, is this guy gonna be like an enemy or on friend? But yeah,
Yep.
they're all cool with it. So
All right
it's
on.
fun.
All right, man. We'll shock us for the cameras.
Yeah.
Right
All
on.
right,
We're out.
brother.
Shout out to the Artist Group Network. Aloha.